Hey everyone, welcome to Manifesting Me. It's Megan. Glad that you're here. So I am just buzzing. I just got off the freaking best call with Nikki Pattinson, who, if you're not familiar with her work, check it out. I think, off the top of my head, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that it's nikkipattinson.com. She's a coach about finding your voice, making sure that your message gets heard. In particular, I happened to sign up for one of her courses, which was Don't Get Deleted, how to make sure that your emails stay out of people's trash icon. And along with signing up for the course, you get a 1-hour one-on-one with her. And it was just invigorating. So much so that I was like, oh my gosh, I've been riding this high since that call. And it ended like an hour ago. And I thought, okay, I've got to do a video about it. And kind of the message that came forth for me that I wanted to share as it relates to manifesting and just trying to help everybody get a better handle on, how do you match up with the life that you want, with your vision of yourself, with who you think you are, who you think you ought to be, who you feel in your soul. Bring it to life right now, because so many of us hold an image in our heads of what we want and what we think would just bring us to life in all ways, but we don't really know how to bridge the gap. So, ongoing topic. So here's just kind of the top line of what I took from this call, besides the fact that Nikki herself, she's a light, she's freaking hilarious. It was great, it was real, it was authentic. And that's part of it, is that she's selling herself in terms of what you see is what you get. So if you've ever watched a video or heard a podcast, she was recently on Lee Harris's podcast. And she's got a ton of videos herself and a great website. Find her on YouTube. If you've ever seen her work, listened to her, that's who she is, So she was absolutely no different in this call that we did. And that brought me kind of to where I am. But so here's kind of the bigger thing that I took away. So two of my biggest influences in reaching the point I'm at right now with manifesting, having written a book on manifesting, knowing how to manifest quickly, easily, all day, every day. One of my biggest teachers was an author, Mike Dooley. Some of you might be familiar with his name. If not, Google it. And also, the second is Lee Harris, who I already just mentioned that Nikki happened to be on Lee's podcast. Well, doesn't it freaking come to find out, because I sent Nikki some of my writing excerpts and including my book, and she goes, you mentioned Mike Dooley in your book. She goes, what about that? And so I just explained to her, not knowing, and she goes, Mike's one of my best friends. Like, of course he is. Of course, you're best friends with two of my spiritual mentors who don't realize they're my spiritual mentors. Doesn't even matter, because, everybody is everybody's spiritual mentor, right? We're all students, we're all teachers. So that was really cool. And she was able to just, kind of take a few points and mention his name a couple times. And I was like, yeah. But what I took from all that was that, who a lot of us want to be, we think we're separate from it. We think like, oh, I want to be somebody bigger, better, richer, prettier, stronger, more flexible, whatever, than I am currently. I want to be like so-and-so. But we hold ourselves apart from it because in our mind, we don't have everything it takes to be that person. We think that person or that thing or that whatever requires something that we don't have within ourselves. Holy hell balls, is that wrong? Because the only thing that it takes is changing our mind about it. And I'll say this, I, years and years ago, was one of the people, 20, 25 years ago when I was, just a little girl in my 20s, kicking around town. I used to watch how the light changes. That's funny. As I kind of go back to that part of my life, pre-spiritual walk, pre any of this stuff, was in the Barnes & Noble reading the trashy magazines, about who were gossiping about Hollywood celebrities and whatnot. And that was all, celebrities were something apart from me, apart from my friends, and it's this whole us, them mentality. And you can take that mentality with anything, rich, poor, educated, uneducated, whatever it is, super strong, able to lift a car versus weakling. So whatever it is that you want that you think you don't have. And what I've come to find out is I've kind of been walking this spiritual path and meeting some people that I admire the heck out of, including Lee Harris. I met Lee Harris, talked to him, got him to sign a funny note to one of my friends, shared a laugh, is that there's no freaking separation between any of us. The only difference between anything that we want and where we are now is what we think about it. So if I think it's out there and that I'm not resonant with it, I haven't met up with it energetically or in my thoughts, then that's exactly what's happened. And that's the only thing that keeps us away from what we want. So that was just really brilliant to be like, some people would call it the, how many degrees of separation are you from who you want or what you want or whatever. Well, today I was, 2 degrees of separation. It's like I was talking to this brilliant woman who's best friends with 2 people that I've more than once thought, holy cow, I'd love to be best friends with those people. So that was terrific. And, for any of us, what is it? What's the separation for you? What is it that you want, and why do you think you're not there yet or not ready? Another exercise that Jim, my husband, and I did this week was I was listening to something, probably Lee Harris, I think it was a Lee Harris video. And my husband, he's met Lee Harris as well. So I shared with him this little exercise that had to do with money. And can you envision the universe bringing you different levels of money? Like if you were to say this week, somebody, somewhere, somehow, the universe, whoever, whatever, gives me, and then you go through these increments of money, $100. How does that feel? Can you picture it? What do you feel in your body? $1,000, $10,000, $100,000, $1 million. And I'm playing along and I'm going through the exercise in my head. And I was good to $100,000, which if you had asked me 10 years ago, I probably would have been stuck at 1,000, which good, bad, right, or wrong. There's no judgment. It's just where I was at the time. And now I'm like, yeah, okay, well, I could write myself for a check for $1,000. So that's a really great feeling. And it's really great to kind of feel that progression of, wow, I used to have a lot of distance between me and that amount of money because it represented whatever. I had my stories about it. And the stories changed, I'm happy to say. And so now my stuck point was getting from $100,000 to $1 million, because $100,000 I could actually feel. I could feel it coming in. Yeah, somebody, gives you that money or whatever happens, or you get an opportunity. And when I went to jump to the million, there was something in me that was, the million wasn't real. And God bless him, Lee, in the video the video clip I watched, said the same thing. He said even he had trouble with $1 million. So there was something about that figure that didn't feel real. Like I couldn't even, so I'm like, feel it in my body. I can barely freaking picture it in my brain. So there's some work that I needed to do there. But you know what I did immediately after? Because it kind of, when I get bugged by something, when I think there's something I can't do, I become kind of tenacious. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to try to figure this out. So I was thinking about it. Okay, can I make $1 million feel better? Like, oh my goodness, try to really force it. Oh, it feels so good. And I thought, okay, well, what am I good at? Because maybe part of me was like, well, I have to be good at welcoming in $1 million. That's not happening right now in this moment, but I'd like it to be. What am I good at? Well, you know what I've been enjoying the heck out of? And a lot of you guys know that I'm really big into gardening. That's my creative expression. Anyway, one of the things that I did this fall, and my joke is because apparently I'm an 80-year-old retired man who's obsessed with his lawn, is that I overseeded our yard. And we've got about an acre that has grass, but not really great grass, which is like a dream of mine. And, once I check that off the box, I'm sure I'll just dig it all up and just plant flower gardens instead. But part of me really wants this beautiful park-like lawn, because there's something idyllic about that goes back to my childhood. So I'm just letting myself kind of work with this dream, and don't judge me. And so I overseeded this fall, and we are in the midst of, or we're coming out of a drought, which had been going on all summer. So I was watering the seed every single day over an acre of our yard and probably looking like an idiot. Some mornings I was up at like 5 in the morning. It's 45 degrees outside and I'm moving the sprinkler around, just trying to get at it as early as I could. Well, God bless America, it finally started to germinate, some of the seeds. And I'm watching these just tiny, beautiful, bright green blades of grass and clover start to develop and pop up like gems. Mind you, tiny, tiny, tiny gems throughout our property. And they're to the point now where they're getting a little bit bigger and more has germinated that I can look out of our window, so I don't have to be right on top of them with a magnifying glass to be like, look, that one germinated. But I can see them now, like just looking out the kitchen window. So going back to the $1 million, I was like, well, geez. I had like 1 million seeds. I was thinking, I've got like 1 million sprouts. I have 1 million bits of new growth outside my window. I did that. And last year, I couldn't do that. I tried and I only got like 10,000 to sprout. This year, definitely 1 million, definitely. So I'm going, okay, well, there's no difference. I can grow that there. Why can't I grow $1 million? Of course I can. Of course I can. Even saying it in this video, like I can still feel like a little tiny bit of resistance. So I'm going to keep working with that. But I'm going to encourage everybody who's watching this to also work with wherever you are, with whatever it is in life that you're wanting to manifest for yourself. It could be a long-held dream, or it could be something that just popped into your head 2 weeks ago where you said, I have to go do that. Work with it and get to a point where you realize there's no distance between you and the thing, right? Close that gap. And then you'll start to feel it in your being. You welcome it in and you can feel the thing that you want as if it's been yours all along. And all you ever had to do was just change the way you were looking at it. So that's what we have for today. I would love to read your comments, hear your experiences, and share the love in the comments section below. Thanks so much, everybody. And again, check out Lee Harris, Mike Dooley, Nikki Pattinson. If you don't know who they are, Google them. I will also try and remember to leave links in the video description below. Until next time, see ya.